Welcome to the podcast where mental health is at the core of what we focus on. We strive to develop people like you to maximize who you are and what you've been called to do by sharing tools and resources for better brain health. And now here's your host, Juan Garcia.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Today, I have the distinct pleasure to have an old friend, a really, really good friend, Victor Cardona. Victor, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Juan. I appreciate it. Thank you for the time. I'm honored just to be here with you. So thank you for having me.
Well, the honor is mine, man. When I started this podcast, I said, man, I got to have Victor on. You know, Victor, you're doing some great stuff. I admire, your tenacity, admire your fight. I've known you for a long time. And I think one thing that I can say that is consistently visual in you is that fight, trying your best to use your gifts and your talents to maximize, the potentials that you get. Because I believe that we all have opportunities. It's what we do with them, right? And I've seen you time and time again jump on some opportunities that you've been given. And so bless you for that, man. Tell us a little bit about something that you want to share with the audience that is not on your bio.
Cool. What's not on my bio is I'm a dad of 4 girls, happily married. So I'm surrounded by ladies and women all day. So a lot of estrogen in the house, but it's exciting. It's exciting. So I've learned to let things kind of go off my shoulder and not take life too serious, being surrounded by so many women.
Yeah. I think it's definitely a benefit because you learn so much, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, my buddies argue with me all the time, and I'm like, dude, that just doesn't bother me. I don't care. Like, this type of stuff I deal with in my home is like, if I could deal with that, I could deal with anything. So
yeah. So Victor, we've had not only a personal relationship for a long time, but we've also had a professional relationship, in coaching, and it was just fun to see you develop so quickly in specific areas. And on this podcast, we focus on mental toughness, right? How do we get to one point and a higher point in our lives when we're engaged and we have challenges and we have things that, like right now, we're going through the pandemic, right? And in your work, you deal with people face to face. And right now, I mean, they're telling you social distance yourself, and you can't, do the things that you probably normally would do to be effective, if you will, in the work that you do. So how do you adjust to something like that? What are some of the tools or resources that you can share with the audience that have helped you overcome some of these challenges that may affect your day-to-day work?
Yeah, no, Juan, that's a great question. I mean, it's been tough. I'm not gonna lie. It's been a big challenge for me. And I'm big in personal health. I mean, self-help, personal development, and just, keeping on with reading and podcasts. And it was tough for me. I can imagine the average person who doesn't really, seek that mental health. It was tough for me because I'm an extrovert, man. I like to be out in front of people. I like shaking hands. I like going out for drinks, dinners, lunches, breakfast. Most of my meetings are held outdoors with people, right? And I love people in general, right? That's my gift, is I just love people. I love helping people, and I just love being around people. I get energy. I'm an extrovert, right? I get energy when I'm around people. When I'm by myself, I tend to lose energy. So it was a challenge. I'd say that first week was really tough for me, like really rough, something I've never dealt with before. And I like to say that my mind is bulletproof, but it was tough that first week. So, I've been bringing in a lot of video, just like we're doing here, a lot of Zoom, Microsoft Teams, different types of video communication, scheduling like happy hours with my clients and partners and friends, where we all just get together, grab a glass of wine or whatever, do coffee with people. So like, let's say I'm like, Juan, let's just grab coffee next week at 10 a.m. I'll shoot you a video invite and we just have coffee and chat it up. But that's what I've been doing to kind of stay sane. And a lot of video, and it's kind of weird sometimes. You're on these professional, like, serious calls, and you don't know. It's just a weird vibe when you're on video and you haven't done video before, and you don't know what the customer's doing. But it's fun. It's been a challenge, but I've grown and learned a lot in the last couple months.
So you said a lot about self-help, some of the resources that you probably tap into, books. Is there a specific practice that you do to kind of get your mind, focused? And because I love to practice mindfulness, right? And mindfulness is all about being in the moment, being present.
Yep.
And for people like you and I think we're very similar in the fact that we are both extroverts. We thrive around people, and we're also what's called on the temperament scale, we're sanguines, right? So we're out there. We try to make things happen with people physically. And so when we're not with people, we kind of feel depleted. Our energies kind of go inward. And so some of the things that I like to do for mindfulness is meditate, take some time. I know you do some things specifically. You want to share with the audience some of those things?
Yeah. I mean, it's very practical, right? And what's easy to do is also easy not to do. And I've learned that I'm not the smartest guy, right? So, and I have ADD, to be quite frank. So I have to be very intentional about what I do on a daily basis. Like, it's something that I planned the day before, and it's a habit that I've instilled over the last 3 to 4 years. But some of the things I do is I wake up very early, a lot earlier than the average person. Pre-COVID, it was about 4:30. Now, and that first week, I was just all out of. I was in shambles that first week. I mean, I was drinking every night. I was waking up late. I mean, eating crap all day. On all over social media, just high anxiety, something I've never dealt with. And then after that first week, I started getting back in my routine. But the routine is wake up earlier than everybody else. And I'm just saying what works for me and what I've had to do to manage the struggle and manage the anxiety. But for me, it's very intentional the night before. Plan out the day ahead, right? Plan out everything. Everything goes in your calendar, whether it's working out or eating or a break throughout the day, your meditation practice. So I wake up early. First thing I do, meditate. That's literally the first thing I do. I do a 15-minute meditation. One of the hardest things to do if you've never meditated before, especially for somebody with ADD who has a million things in their head.
Oh my goodness.
But it's like anything. It's practice. It's practice. It's practice. Your brain is a muscle. Your brain will adjust. So for me, it's 15 minutes of meditation. I identify as a Christian, so I believe God is the overarching authority of everything that I do. So I read, I'm usually doing a devotional every morning. So I go on the Bible app and I do a devotional every morning. That's usually about reading for like 5 minutes. And then I go to the Bible, do another maybe chapter or two. I'm doing Proverbs now. After that, then I read a book, a secular book, could be anything. Right now I'm reading actually the biography of Elon Musk. Right.
Oh, okay.
So it's been good. Then after that, I work out. All right. So, and I do CrossFit, and I do CrossFit, or I'm running 3 miles a day.
Oh,
so,
boy. Whew, CrossFit.
Yeah. I know it's not obvious by my waistline because of all the Cheetos I've been eating, but yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun. But this is literally a routine I've established for the last 3 to 4 years, and it's what works for me, and what gets me into the best mental mindset and just as sharp as I know I could be. And I know when I'm at my best, I'm getting this routine done in the morning. If I miss 1 or 2 of these things, I notice I'm a little off. And in my field, and just to be quite frank, with the life that I live, I have to be on my A game 24/7. I can't have any days. I can't have any days off. Right? I can't afford it.
Yeah, and to allude a little bit more into what you said about how when COVID hit, it kind of affected you, especially that first week. I think it affected everybody in the sense that it threw everything off, right? Because whatever was normal, it's like, no, what do? You can't go here, you can't go there, you can't meet with people in public. So I think that first month was very difficult. Now, I'm a healthcare professional, so my job continued. I still traveled. I've shared with people that there was a flight that I had. I was the only passenger in that flight, and which was weird.
Yeah.
It was me, the 2 pilots. Huh?
Did you lay out?
I couldn't. I was like, what's going to happen?
That's crazy.
It's funny because, and God bless that flight attendant on that flight, and it was in the month of April. She did the whole, safety protocol just for me. And she's looking at me like, I'm sorry, I got to do it. But do your thing,
That's awesome, man.
We kind of made it fun, but it's just to show that things can change so drastically.
Yeah.
Without us expecting it. So I wanted to ask you, because I've seen you develop throughout the years. I know your parents, I know your brother. So we're more like family, even though we have had a professional relationship as well. So tell me a little bit about your journey in terms of dealing with what we deem the unexpected, or the things that may throw you off more mentally than physically, that you were able to say, you know what, this is not going to stop me. I still have to do this. I still have to do that, because I have goals. I have aspirations. I have things that I want to accomplish in this life, and no one's going to tell me that I can't do it. So how did you handle some of that? And what were some of the best practices that you can look back and say, yeah, this definitely I had to go through in order to, be who I am today. And then I didn't deal with this part the best way, but I still learned from it. And now I'm a better person because of it. Because I think that's going to help a lot of people that are listening that may be stuck somewhere, or maybe dealing with a choice, a fork in the road, that they have to, make a decision.
Yeah. No, listen, man, I appreciate it. And I'm just going to ask for your permission to be real, be authentic, and be honest. So that's just the only way I know how to be. So I've had two pivotal moments in my life. And it's not something that I've really understood until the last couple of years after I had my daughters. But I had one pivotal moment. I was working at a mall. I was working in Sephora, and I only did it for the chicks. I was like 15, 16, 17, working in the women's section, spraying women. Hey, check out this new Dolce & Gabbana. They'd walk in, I'd just flirt around, whatever. And I remember I was in high school. I wasn't, I think I was always wise, right? I was always street smart, but I wouldn't consider myself to be academically, up there, or academically, well, and just I didn't meet up with the other people, and I just didn't consider myself to be an intelligent person, to be quite frank. And I didn't do well in high school. The grades were okay, but I was always, hey, class clown, loudest in the class, having a good time, disrespecting teachers, and just not giving a damn about anything, just kind of living in the moment. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go work in retail, make $10 an hour, whatever, talk to girls. I was like 16, 17 at that time. You should already be kind of figuring out what you're going to do.
Yeah.
I got a full ride scholarship, in lieu of all that, to FDU, Philly Dickinson University, and Ramapo. Then I had a partial scholarship to NJIT. I don't know how the hell they gave it to me, to be honest with you. But I decided to go, and I kind of dropped out, to be quite frank. So I went to work to the mall, and this was the first pivotal moment in my life. The first time I was exposed to what success is, and just anything outside of an urban area, because I was born and raised in Paterson, New Jersey, very urban. And not, obviously not around the type of people that I am now, but, they're amazing people out there. But essentially the guy came up to me and he was like, Vic, you're a nice guy. You have a great smile. You're handsome. You're tall. What are you doing? Like, is this, what do you want to be? And this was the first time anybody ever asked me that, like, what do you want to do with yourself?
Wow.
And I'm like, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know. I just told him straight up, I don't know. And he was like, well, you'd be good for what I do. And he was in the direct sales business, and he took me to his home, like, they did all the home meetings, and that's when I was exposed to self-help, personal development, and that industry, and that's what kind of put me into this course of where I am today. The second one, and I think the most crucial moment in my life, was probably the hardest time in my life, was with my first marriage, and I have no problem talking about it because I've forgiven myself. It's over.
Yeah,
but I was married
to
an
amazing.
I've done the work, but I was married to an amazing person. We hit it off. I would say 90% of it was my fault, and I have no problem, admitting that 90% of my fault. I was immature. I wasn't ready. I don't know what the hell I was doing, and I was pretty young, but it was tough. I mean, I was making six figures at the time, and I was in my early 20s and building a career. And when you're in divorce, obviously things happen, things get said on both parties that kind of affect you. And, with any divorce, when, somebody makes more money, you have to pay out alimony, depending on the situation. So I literally lost half of everything I've owned, all my assets. And I mean, listen, I was 22, 23 at the time. It was the end of the world, right? Now look back, it's like, whatever. So 22, 23, lost everything. And I honestly felt like my life was over. There were things that were said that were hurtful. Like I said, I'm both parts and I have so much to blame. Right.
Yeah.
And one of the things the person told me was like, Vic, like, you're not going to be shit without me. And that from that moment on, like that pierced my soul at the time. And I was 22, 23. And I told myself like, F this, F you. I'm just being straight. F you. I'm going to prove you in the world wrong, that I'm going to be somebody. And that's what it is. I'm going to prove everybody that thought I was a piece of crap, everybody that thought I was just going to be nobody because I was a class clown. I'm going to work 10 times as hard as my colleagues, because honestly, quite frankly, I'm not as smart as them. So I got to work harder than them to get what they have. Yeah. And I'm going to prove the world wrong. And honestly, I still have that chip on my shoulder today. It's, I think it's lessened, right? Because it's not the overarching reason I do things now, but there were times where things were hard. I'm like, no, I got to prove everybody wrong. And I got to keep on going and keep on going and keep on going. And obviously forgave myself, right? Because I made mistakes in that marriage and forgave myself. And, you know, thankfully I'm married to the woman of my dreams now. We have 4 beautiful girls. We've been married 5 years. She's my best friend. Like, I love her. She's my everything. And, you know, if it wasn't for that hard part that I went through, I probably would have destroyed this marriage as well. Right. So I think I needed to go through that to grow, to mature, to be a better husband, obviously a better father, and just overall success. Right. So, you know, Tony Robbins said, life doesn't happen to you. It happens for you. If you decide to step out of your circle and just gain a better overall perspective, because everybody has shit. Like, everybody goes through shit. Like, you're not, even scriptures say when it rains on one, it rains on everybody, right? So absolutely. Everybody goes through their stuff. The people who come out on top are the ones who are able to kind of disengage, step away, and kind of look at the big picture. Like, life's not going to end. Like, you still have your brain, you still have your eyes, your ears. Like, there's always something to be grateful for, and just keep on pushing forward, keep on moving forward. Yeah. So I'm eternally grateful for for my first wife, my ex-wife, and everything that I've learned through that scenario, and I've grown from that, and I'm grateful for that experience, because it made me who I am today. Honestly, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be the man I am today.
Yeah. And thank you for sharing that, Vic, because I know that's very personal. It's your journey. It's what you had to go through in order to kind of look back and say, wow, this is where I am. This is where I'm headed. And I'm thankful for what I'm able to learn from it. And I think both pivotal moments for you can be summed up into relationships, right? And I know there's been studies about intellect, IQ. There's been studies about emotional awareness, EQ. And now there's this new thing called relational intelligence, which is RQ. And I think we tend to not see or take it for granted the importance of having relationships that are very, very helpful, that kind of line us up towards not only our core values and our personal, experiences, but also that will kind of plunge us into the areas of success that we're looking for. It's all about, having the right relationships to guide you to, mentors, peer mentors, people, proteges that you can also, speak into their lives. But also the same applies to the bad relationships that we have to cut off, right? That we have to say, you know what, this relationship, I know for me, being a sanguine, and the reason why I'm saying that is because a lot of our podcast episodes are going to have to do with temperaments, which is I do temperament therapy. And so I'm throwing those things out there because people are going to want to know what they are. And this is why you got to listen, because we're going to touch those things. And when you know your temperament, you know not only some of your potential weaknesses, but you know your strengths. And like you have been saying, your strength is being with people. You're an extrovert, and that you've maximized by working in the industry that you're in, so that you can be out there and use your gifts. I'm a public speaker. I'm a counselor. So same thing. I'm using my gift to help people on their journeys, whether it's professional athletes, whether it's, an anchor on a network, whatever it is. Yeah. And we're both August babies, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so,
24th.
Yes, sir. 21st.
Yeah, that's right.
And so we have kind of like a similar makeups, if you will, as to what we look at success, how we look at success dead in the eyes and say, I'm coming for you, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times that has to do with those relationships. I remember I got invited to a breakfast that I didn't want to go to. And it was going to be full of, a specific industry. And I'm like, I'm not interested. And finally, I was convinced to go. I went. Long story short, they sat me at a table next to the guy that was able to expose me to the NBA.
Wow,
and I
that's
had
awesome.
no idea that, number one, I didn't know who he was. Number two, I didn't know he was going to be there. Number three, I didn't know it was going to work out the way it did. And thankfully, I fast-tracked, 15 years later, and all of the relationships that I was able to harness, all the network that I was able to grow is because of that place and that moment that I didn't want to go to. So we have to be open to these things and learn from our experiences, learn how to create important relationships that are going to help us thrive, and learn how to cut off relationships that are literally sucking the life out of us. I know I've had to do that in my life and say, right now, the only social media platform I have is LinkedIn, because I just couldn't handle the constant barrage of negativity of, oh my goodness, like I need to move towards something that's positive and so talk a little bit about some of those things, those nuances, if you will, that maybe you've said, I can't do that, because I know it's a mindset. And when you start getting exposed, for example, you grew up in Paterson, New Jersey. I grew up in Passaic, New Jersey, a couple of towns over, similar, urban makeup, great exposure, to diversity.
And East Side always beat Passaic High in baseball and basketball. I'll tell you right now.
Not during my time. But we're not gonna date ourselves out there. Yeah. But not in my time. In the '80s, we were champs twice. Okay. But that's all right. You got us lately. Okay. You got us. But we were exposed to diversity. We were exposed to good food. We were exposed to playing outside. Hearing gunshots, and it was pretty normal. Yeah. So it kind of does something to you, right? And so now, we're out here. We both own homes. We both have, multiple types of bank accounts, multiple streams of income that we weren't taught about stuff like that when we were growing up. And so that came from being exposed, right? Being exposed to, we weren't told that, you had to read specific things, and that came out of our self-development to say, I gotta be on my A game with this. I got to read about this. Everything that I'm talking about in terms of mental health is stuff that I've been reading, and I've been studying, and I've been getting certified. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about that type of journey for you.
So before I get into the journey, 2 points on what you said. The first one was on connections and relationships. Yeah. So as part of my, what I call hour of power every morning at 4:30, 5:30 in the morning, I journal. I write down my goals, my yearly goals, my quarterly goals, my monthly goals, my daily goals. I write down what I'm grateful for. I write down what I'm going to make this year. I write down that I'm going to be an amazing father. I'm going to be a present father. I'm going to be an engaging husband. I write down my health, what I want to look, what my waistline wants to look like over the next 30 days. And at the end, I put a couple reaffirming kind of statements. And one of those is, to your points on relationship, every single person I speak to today, or treat every person you speak to as if they're going to lead you to your next $1 million.
Wow.
So when somebody calls me that I don't know, or if it's somebody that I know I don't want to take this call, I remember that statement because I write it down every morning. I read it around 10:30 again. I read it right after lunch. And it's it's something that's intentional that I've written down and I read all the time. So it's like, this next person can lead you to your $1 million. So treat them as if, right? Give them the respect they deserve. Make eye contact. Listen. It's not about you. It's about them. It's about making them feel interested. Right? It's not about you being interesting. It's being interested in the other person. Right. So that's the one thing with relationships. On the social media standpoint, yeah, dude, I had to cut all social media that first week that COVID hit. Because I was, to your point out, I was being hammered with negativity and the left versus the right, and conservative, liberal and Christian and non-Christian. It was just too much. Yeah. So that first week, I had everything open. That Sunday, I'm like, F this, going back to my normal routine. everybody's going through this. I'm going to stand out and just flood the world of positivity. And part of that was, to your point, I canceled everything except LinkedIn. I kept LinkedIn. I canceled all my social media. I told everybody I'm taking a break. It was just too much. And even now, I've deleted Facebook from my phone. And Instagram I still have, but I deleted Facebook from my phone. I have it on my laptop just because it's just too much, right, with everything going on. But I mean, some of the things I do, man, is I tell everybody this, dude: protect your peace, protect your head, protect your mind. Don't let anything into it that's going to affect it negatively. And it could be anything. It could be a horror movie. It could be a suspenseful movie. If you have trouble sleeping, like, just don't watch horror movies before you. It's the stupidest thing. Yeah. But it could be anything. Protect your peace. Like, when do you feel you're most at peace? It's most likely when you're disconnected from the world. That's what it is. So one of the reasons I wake up early is because I need that time to myself every morning to set my day up for success. If I don't have that time, I said it earlier, I just feel like I'm out of whack. I don't feel like myself. I feel unclear and I feel disconnected. So what I have to do is I have to wake up early and spend that time with God and with myself, because I need that every morning to have a successful and a powerful day, right? So I closed social media. That was one of the things I did. I don't watch the news. I haven't watched the news in the last probably 10 years, right? And the way, people would say, well, how are you going to know what's going on? I'm like, dude, if it's something that's really bad, somebody's going to text me. My mother's on top of things. My mother-in-law is on top of things. Like, I will find out. Like, I don't need to be first front knowing breaking news, like something's going on. Because all that stuff, it just messes your head. So protect your peace. Meditation, like, people look at meditation like weird, like you have to be spiritual, blah, like your eyes behind your head, like exorcist. No, it's literally just breathing, staying still, disconnecting, and just focus on your breathing. That's all it is. Yeah. Right. So I think meditation, I started practicing meditation about 3 years ago, and it's been one of the single most game-changing things that I've ever done for mindfulness. Right. And it's a process, like, because it's a muscle. You have to work at it. It's not going to be easy in the beginning. You can start with 5 minutes. I started with 10 minutes, and now I'm up to 15 minutes every morning. Sometimes I'll do a smaller meditation in the afternoon. If I'm feeling overwhelmed or tired, I'll do something like that. Obviously, exercise. I am a hardcore exercise. Like, I work out all the time. I do eat a lot, so I have to work out, right? And I'm still fat, but I do exercise, not because of the way my body looks, but for my mental clarity. Like, there's science that backs it up, right? Yep. What workout and how it's all connected. So I work out, I do CrossFit 4 to 5 days a week. I just bought a Peloton. It won't be delivered until August. It won't be delivered till August. They're still backed up. But if I'm not CrossFitting, I'm running outside. If I'm not doing that, I'm swimming laps in my pool. But always staying active, right? Always staying active. And I do think there's a spiritual component to everything. And I know it is in a spiritual podcast, but whatever you believe in, get connected to that and understand that there is a higher power and there's something out there. Whether you believe it or not, there's something out there that's there for your well-being or the other way around. So for me, the way I see it is, I believe in God. I identify as a Christian. He has my life in his hands. And if I'm starting to stress out, I think it's really a lack of trust in the Lord and God. That's just the way I see it. And I'm not perfect. I'm human. I get stressed out. I get angry. I curse. I black out sometimes. But I have to come and center and refocus myself. I'm like, you know what? God has everything under control. I'm going to do my best, give him the rest. I'm going to work my ass off as if it depends on me. But I know at the end of the day, it depends on him and just giving me the strength to continue to move forward. Yeah. So, but it's a process, man. It's something that I've been working on for years. You're not just going to develop this mindset overnight. It's not something that you just read a book once a week, or you work out once a week, or you meditate once a week, and you're not going to see results, right? If you work out, you go to the gym once a week, it's not really going to do much. Like, there has to be consistency. There has to be intention. So I have to work on my mind every day. Just like you shower every day, you work on your body every day, you have to work on your mind daily, because there's thousands of things vying for your attention, like social media, business, like there's thousands of things coming at you. And obviously we're in the information age, we're in the social age, everything, you have so much information on your fingertips, and sometimes it could be overwhelming. So you need to kind of step away sometimes for your own mental clarity and health.
Yeah. Oh, that's so helpful, Vic. Thanks for sharing that, because I know there's a lot of people that are striving to want to be or do something, but they struggle. They struggle with discipline, which is a big word for me. I do things intentionally and on purpose. I'm very like tedious, and
Yeah.
some people would say even anal about
Yeah.
certain things. I travel a lot, so things have to be set up a certain way in order for them to
Mm-hmm.
function for me. My
Mm-hmm.
family knows that. They know
Oh
me
yeah.
very well as to my expectations that are not unrealistic. They're just, my preference and what works for me. And so I know
Oh yeah.
people get stuck because they keep putting things, oh no, I'll do that next week. I'll do that next month. And then between now and next month, something happens that totally shifts. And if a plane, when it's flying, is 2 degrees off, I mean, that plane will land somewhere totally in a different, time zone, because it only takes that little bit to be off, right? For the
Yeah.
whole course to be thrown off. And sometimes it's just lack of discipline. And you're talking about spirituality, and spirituality is all about being in control, right? And having the
Yeah.
discipline and telling your body what it's supposed to do, telling your mind how it's supposed to think, telling yourself what you're supposed to believe. Because I think a lot of people are walking around with false beliefs about themselves, about God, about all of
Yeah.
the world, the
Yeah.
pandemic, and all these things that we're hearing. So it's so useful what you said about being consistent, being intentional, and having these things that are going to help you. And at the end of the day, that's going to help those that are around you, that you love, and it's going to make you a better person, a better man, a better woman. And you're going to thrive because you have the intentionality. You've taken out the step to say, this is the course that I'm going to take, and no matter what challenges I face, I'm going to go, I'm going to go hard, and I'm going to succeed, because that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Challenges come, unexpected things come. You've had 2 girls in what, 3 years, pretty much.
Yeah. So so I've had Skylar Shea after Shea Stadium with the Mets. So I'm a diehard Mets fan, season ticket holder. I know the executive team over there, but so Skylar Shea Cardona, she was born on August 31st, 2017. And then I just had a
17.
newborn. Yeah, I just had a newborn, Harlow Grace Cardona. She was just born in February. So
So in
it's
three
been
years,
in 3 years. I had two babies. So
two
right now I have
babies.
two babies under 3. So it's borderline insane in this house right now with these kids. And then I have a teenager who just
Teenager.
graduated 8th grade, and then I have the big kid in college right now in Miami.
Yeah, and you have a new home. You
New
have
home. Yep.
all these different things that have been added to what you do, your business, your consulting. And so it's like, anyone.
Dude, you know what it is? If I'm not busy, I'm just on another. I think I'm a machine. If I'm not busy, or if there's not something going on, I start to get anxiety.
It
Right?
doesn't
So
work.
there's got to be growth. There's got to be something going on. Okay,
Yeah,
we got the house this year. Next, we're gonna get the pool. We're gonna do the
yeah,
basement. Like, you know what I mean? What's next? Right? I'm always looking at what's next. I'm 33 years old. I'm gonna be 34 this year. I'm not gonna slow down anytime soon.
yeah,
But to your point, you just got to you need to take that time out for yourself. You have 1 kid, 2 kids, 10 kids, a nagging wife. Not me, I'm saying in general. Doesn't matter how much that you need time to yourself. So if
yeah,
that means you got to limit your sleep, you got to limit your sleep. If that means lock yourself in the bathroom, do it. Get away from technology. And honestly, man, for me, it's about being as practical and what are the steps. So tell you what's worked for me. For me, waking up early meant I had to go to sleep a little earlier. That means I had to not eat right before I go to sleep, because your body's working all night.
yeah.
You're not going to get a deep sleep. It means no digital technology, maybe a couple hours before you sleep.
Right.
For me, it's putting my phone in the other room, the alarm clock, so it forces me to get up out of bed and actually go and turn off the alarm, not just hit the snooze button.
Yeah.
For me, working out, having all of your clothes the night before prepared right next to your bed.
Yep.
So when you get up, all your clothes are there, they're ready to go. But just the little hacks that you need to do to do it. It's, I mean, easier said than done, but you need to hack your brain and do all these little things to make it work.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Thanks for sharing that, bro. So at the end of the day, I'm proud of you. I just want to affirm you publicly. I'm proud of you, man, the
Thank
man
you,
that
man.
you've become. husband, father, businessman. I appreciate what you do and who you are. I appreciate that, this relationship has been rich for me. We've been exchanging back and forth. You've always been consistent in who you are. And so I thank you for that. And I just want to say, man, you've helped a lot of people. And I think with this podcast, a lot of people are going to consider some of the little, what I like to call atomic habits, where little by little, you compound. And next thing you know, you're on this grind, and it's just natural. I leave my phone in other rooms all the time because I don't even need to hear that a notification that I'm getting. Smart news is telling me that somebody's protesting now, and Trump tweeted this, and I don't need to know all that. And so I have to also disengage myself for that, because some of the work that I do, I'm on call 24 hours, and I'm always on alert that I'm going to get called. And now when I'm down. Like, I ain't got no work to do. I'm doing this podcast, trying to help as many people as I can, and that's my goal. And so I thank you for coming on this podcast. If anybody wants to get in touch with you, you have an email you want to share. So if people want to kind of use your services.
It's vwcardona@gmail.com. That's the easiest way to get a hold of me. Okay. So appreciate it. Yeah.
Awesome. So there you have it, guys. This has been Victor Cardona on this podcast, Mind Yours. We're all about mental health. We're all about performance peak. We want to push you and challenge you to be the best person that you can be, starting with brain health. And so, we all have minds, but you have to mind yours. You have to take care of who you are. Take that time to be by yourself. Let it all take in so that you can give the world the best version of yourself. Any last words, Victor, you want to share?
Yeah, man. First and foremost, I value our relationship. You've been a mentor, a spiritual mentor. What I look forward to when as a man of God, a father, a husband, I do mimic and follow you and appreciate your relationships. I want you to know that. I would say, I know we're all living in really tough times, right? Times I've never dealt with my whole life, right? Yeah. So here's what I'm going to tell everybody. The world is mourning right now. Like, we're all going through this together. You're not alone. You're not crazy, right? Everybody, most people have anxiety issues, especially with everything going on. I'm going to say that if you're listening and you're watching, there's still hope, right? If you're here and you're breathing, you can literally change your life you could change your direction overnight, right? Yeah. And I could say that if you're actually watching this podcast, you want more, right? You want more, you want to get there, you want a better life. It could be anything, a better relationship with your spouse, your kids, better career, better health. So take the time to realize that everybody's going through this together, but make a difference and spread love. Don't spread negative news. And I think that the way we get through this is together. I think the way we get through this is spreading love, right? Not spreading hate. And obviously I could talk about everything that's going on, even with the racial issues, right? And it breaks my heart to see what's going on.
Yeah.
I know that not all Black people are bad. I know that our cops are bad. And I just want everybody to know that the way to change is to love people in general, not look at anything, not look at their profession. I don't care if you're a cop, a lawyer, a medical professional. I don't care if you're Black, white, Spanish. We're all people. We're a race. And the way to change the world is to love and just show so much love. Give a hug, just listen, like, shut up. Like, I'm not Black, so I can't identify. I mean, I'm a minority, but I'm going to shut up and listen and try to understand. Same thing with a cop. I don't know what they go through every day, right? But I'm going to sit there and listen. I'm not going to try to give advice. Sometimes people just want a shoulder to cry on, somebody to talk to. So I've made it a point to operate more with a higher attitude of love and just more grace and more love with every single encounter I have, because everybody's going through their own shit, man. Everybody's going through their stuff, right? Yep. So I feel like if I want to change the world, this is what we have to do, right? We have to love, and just overarching love. I know it's easier said than done, but it's not about you. It's about humanity, right? It's about your kids. It's about the world they grow up in, right? So that's all I'd have to say. I love you all. Anything, you guys need, I'm a phone call away. And Juan, I 100%, and I'm so thankful and honored and grateful to be on this. So I appreciate you having me on.
Oh man, thank you, bro. It's been a privilege for me, and I look forward to our journeys together, and much more success to you, my brother.
Likewise.
Continue to thrive. Hopefully, we can get a book out of you sometime with all these tips that you can give us.
Maybe one day when I'm 70.
All you got to do is dictate, man.
The last thing I need right now, man. I can't. No more projects, man.
Talk about mental health, right?
Yeah, I'm going to go crazy. Shit.
Well, thanks, man. Thank you, Victor.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you all for listening. This has been your podcast, Mind Yours. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share. Hit that notification button so that you are alerted whenever we put one of these awesome interviews on there. And we will see you next time. Take care, guys.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning into our podcast. For more information, visit our website at juangarciaenterprises.com. Our host, Juan Garcia, is available for speaking, coaching, and one-on-one counseling. You can email us at info@juangarciaenterprises.com. Until next time, remember, we only have one mind, so mind yours.